Welcome to Athletes Unlimited Softball on ESPN, presented by Nike. The final day of Series 2 in Rosemont, Illinois from Parkway Bank Sports Complex. It is Team Taylor and Team Leach in our first of two games. Team Leach undefeated in Series 2, and a big reason why, their team captain, Aubrey Leach, currently second in our individual leaderboard standings, just 38 points behind Rachel Garcia. And she plays two games tonight, so she has a chance to leapfrog and go into first place. Meanwhile, on the other side, Deja Mulipola has been raking in this series. 4 of her 5 hits, home runs, none bigger than last night in the 7th inning. Her team trailing, grand slam, dead center field, 309 feet. The center field wall is 230 feet. She absolutely smoked it, completing a 7-run 7th inning for Team Taylor to come away with the win. If you're new to AUX Softball, it is a 3-week season separated with 3 different series, all each 6 games. Points are awarded to individuals for team wins, individual stats, MVP voting. As we welcome you inside the booth, Matt Schumacher, the 2-time first-team All-American, Madison Shipman. And Madison, that's why today is such a big deal, because it's the final day of Series 2. Our final draft is tomorrow. There's a lot at stake here, including individual standings. The final day of these series here in AUX are always the most important because it's the last opportunity that these athletes have to try to move on up the leaderboard. And we've seen some great individual performances, but these athletes know just how important those inning points and those win points are, and that's another reason why Team Leach is coming into this doubleheader looking to stay undefeated. Going for the sweep tonight. It starts first with Team Taylor, who, of course, led by Nadia Taylor, batting in the 2-hole, playing in the hot corner. Deja Mulipola, 4 of her 5 hits, home runs. She bats in the cleanup spot. Jasmine Jackson, though, just a couple of spots down, has been really solid for Team Taylor. She almost acts as another leadoff batter down there towards the bottom of the lineup. She can bunt, she can slap, she can hit away. We've seen her with a little bit of power so far, but she's going to be going up against Peyton St. George out there in the circle for Team Leach. And St. George had a phenomenal outing in her last appearance, went 4 1/3 innings, ended up with 5 strikeouts, a couple of those looking because she was able to nail that outside corner to those right-handed batters. She's got a bunch of different pitches that she's going to throw, really good spin, but it's that changeup. That's a pitch that she can throw in any count, and it is filthy. This is a look at the different pitches that Peyton St. George is going to throw. Fastball, rise ball, changeup, also important pitches that she's going to need to throw against a really tough offense here for Team Taylor. Leading things off for Team Taylor, Victoria Hayward. And the lefty takes a strike. Our home plate umpire this evening, Brad Newton. Stacy Newton up the first base line. Bubba Ewald down at third. Team Taylor, in their last game on Monday, was seemingly dead in the water. Going into the 7th inning, they trailed 4-0. They could not find anything against Rachel Garcia, and then the bats exploded for 7 runs in the 7th. It was hit after hit after hit, and really hard hits too. They started off that inning with a double and then back-to-back singles, and they just continued to pour it on, forcing them to change pitchers and putting up 7 runs in that 7th inning alone. It was really impressive. And just watching that game, the momentum was on their opponent's side the entire time, it felt like. And then just that one hit, that second hit, started a chain of events. Had a lot of strikeouts throughout that ball game too. 7 strikeouts through the first 6 innings. And when you have unproductive outs like that, it can oftentimes give the momentum back to the pitcher. But in that inning, being able to string together those quality at-bats was huge for them. Jasmine Jackson getting it started for them down in that 7 spot. Hayward runs the count full in the leadoff spot against Peyton St. George. Hayward coming into the day riding a 4-game hit streak. And over that stretch, 6 hits, 2 walks, 2 runs batted in. There has not, though, been a better offensive team in this series than Team Leach, outscoring their opponents by 11 coming into the final day.
They put up 18 total hits in the last game that they played. They've just been unstoppable top to bottom in that offense.
8th pitch of the at-bat. And it's to Leach, flipping it quickly to first, one down. And now the captain, Nadia Taylor.
Nadia with one of those really powerful right-handed swings, got off to such a hot start in the first series. That's why she, of course, was a captain here in Series 2, still looking for her first hit here in this second series.
Hitless in her last 3 games. 10 at-bats over that stretch. For as much as we talk about hitting, especially in Series 2, because we have seen a lot of it, we've seen big bats, big home runs. For as much as we talk about the hitting, Madison, the pitching, when it's been good, has been really, really good. We saw it with Rachel Garcia on Monday night.
And a lot of it has to do with these pitchers early in the ball game trying to establish the strike zone, see what pitches they're going to get called, because if you leave it over the heart of the plate, we've seen what these batters will do to it. But also being able to mix in that change of speeds is so important as well. If you continue as a pitcher to just throw the pitch in the same spot over and over again, these batters are going to make adjustments. You can see all the runs that these offenses have been able to put up through the past several games. It's been a big challenge for these pitchers out there in the circle.
Taylor, high but playable down the left field line. It's Gibson in foul territory, 2 down. Well, you saw in that last graphic, we're on pace to outscore last season. We're also on pace to have the most home runs of an AUX season. In spite of all the wind, which has whipped every which way here in Rosemont so far this week.
And it's mostly blown in towards the batters too, but that has not stopped any of these home runs from leaving the yard. You mentioned it in the open, the 309-foot home run that Deja had the other night.
Wiz grounded her short. It's Sis Bates with the flip and a 1-2-3 inning for Peyton St. George. And a chance for Team Leach to win inning number 1 when we return. A 1-2-3 inning for Peyton St. George and Team Leach. Now they'll pick up the bats as we return to Rosemont here in the bottom of the first. Mia Davidson, man, she has been hot in this series, and coming into the day, Madison third in the individual AUX leaderboard.
There's so many different players in this Leach lineup that have been on fire. Danielle Gibson being another one of those batters. Tori Vidalis, Aubrey Leach, they have been nearly unstoppable. Been very, very impressive, this lineup that Aubrey Leach has been able to put together. And they're going to be going up against Mariah Masson in the circle, who is very well known for the high velocity that she's going to bring out there in the circle. So the timing is something that this offense is going to have to adjust to early in this ball game. Has a bunch of different pitches that she'll throw: a curveball, screwball, a drop ball, rise ball, and a changeup. So far in this AUX season, we've really seen her use a heavy dose of those drop balls down in the zone to try to induce a lot of ground ball outs.
And that ERA is a little bit deceptive, the one that just flashed on your screen. Came from really the only start that we've seen her have. She didn't last the first inning. That was back on June 14th. Gave up 5 earned on 4 hits, but has been pretty darn good in her 2 relief appearances since then.
That's a spot right there that she's going to have a lot of success with against somebody like Aubrey Leach. Only has 2 strikeouts in her last 2 appearances for Masson. But if she's able to hit those corners, it's going to be tough for the batters to be able to get solid barrel on. And even a miss like that, where you're not over adjusting too much, just barely inching that ball further out of the zone. Those are the types of locations that you want to throw in when you're in a good pitcher's count.
Leach has been one of the most consistent bats throughout this AUX season. And as we highlighted at the top, coming into the night, just 38 points behind Rachel Garcia for the top spot on the leaderboard. And Leach will have the advantage of playing 2 games tonight. And she told you coming into the night that she'd prefer to play the doubleheader on the last day of the series.
It's a little bit of a different format than what we saw from AUX last season. They've added in that day off in the middle of each series. So Team Leach riding a day off heading into the doubleheader today.
Probably helps that she's been playing pretty well, too.
2 batters in this Leach lineup are already in double-digit hits. Aubrey Leach with 10, Danielle Gibson with 11 in that 3 spot today.
The 3-2 into center, and instead gliding over to left field, Jasmine Jackson. 1 down. And that brings up Tori Vidalis. You talked about the aggressiveness at the plate that we've seen from Team Leach in this series. As Vidalis comes up, first pitch swinging, and Ocasio puts out the 2nd out of the inning.
I'm assuming you were about to talk something about them swinging early in the count, but Tori Vidalis didn't give you enough time to finish that sentence. Just an example of the aggressiveness that you see from them.
You kind of talked about that too with Aubrey Leach, and just wanting to talk more about her when she's at the plate in this series, but she doesn't give you an opportunity to do that.
That's what I should have done down on the field before the game, is give Aubrey a hard time for swinging so early in the count that we don't have time to talk about her throughout her at-bats.
Danielle Gibson on fire, leading the league with 11 hits. And her and Tori Vidalis, who just recorded the 2nd out of the inning to right field, the only players in the league to register a hit in every game so far this season, including dating back to series number 1.
Good location there by Masson, working the drop ball outside. She's pretty much sticking away from the 2 lefties and the 1 righty that she saw so far in this first inning.
Tapper right back to Masson, and a 1-2-3 to match Peyton St. George. So no blood in the first. We'll have rollover points as we start the 2nd inning next in Rosemont. Matt Schumacher, Madison Shipman with you. We've talked a lot about offense. How about the defense we've seen in the outfield in this tournament?
These center fielders have just been insane with the amount of ground that they cover. You saw that catch that Victoria Hayward had. Haley McClinney getting it done out in center field as well. Look at how far she's going to run and then laying it all out on the line. Perfectly timed dive to snag that one, but it doesn't just stop there. Aaliyah Andrews, Air Aaliyah herself, with this phenomenal catch out in center field. She actually told us that it was a bad read on her part, but she was able to make up for it for the number 3 play on SportsCenter Top 10.
You don't think she did that on purpose, do you? Just to add a little, flair.
Got to make it look good,
field.
right?
All 3 of those top 10 on SportsCenter.
And they all make it look so easy,
yes,
too.
they do. So a 1-2-3 inning to start for Peyton St. George in the top of the first, now taking on arguably the most dangerous hitter in AUX to start this season, Deja Mulipola.
She has been on a tear up at the plate here in Series 2. Talked about the grand slam that she had, the 309-foot home run out to center field. And throughout that at-bat, got herself to a 1-0 count and then watched a backdoor curveball outside go by for a strike. And after she took that pitch, you could just tell she was going to be all over the next one that she saw. Got another one outside and sent it almost out to the freeway beyond the center field fence.
Okay, so you've got a dangerous hitter in Mulipola at the dish. Obviously, we know individual points always on the line with every pitch in AUX. How does that factor into the way you pitch her if you're Peyton St. George?
You throw her a lot of off speeds, which is exactly what we just saw from Peyton St. George. Probably left that one a bit too high in the zone if she's being picky on that changeup, but still is able to get it in there for a strike and get Deja Mulipola into a 2-strike count.
How about a strikeout? As we go down to Savannah Collins with more.
Thanks, Matt. Athletes Unlimited athletes have become a staple of SportsCenter lately. Those center fielders consistently making it into the top 10. But fans, we want to know, who has your vote? Who do you think is the best? Was it Victoria Hayward's stealthy snag? Maybe it was Halo laying it all out on the line, or Aaliyah Andrews going airborne again. So go to AU Pro Sports on Twitter to cast your vote. We want to know who you think is the best. Matt, Madison, who's got your vote for the center fielders?
Ooh, that one's a really tough one, Savannah. I think I'm going to have to give the nod, though, to Aaliyah Andrews out in center field because of her recovery, because she ended up coming up on that ball and then had to go back and make that incredible dive. But I feel like we've got to give a shout-out, too, to Megan Faramo for making it on SportsCenter, too, with the line drive that she got hit back to her, bobbled it, able to come down with it. That's going to be a lot of fun to see which ones the fans love as well. Matt, do you have a favorite of those 3 catches?
I do.
Oh.
Just for argument's sake.
Okay. All right. So that's how today's going to go.
I'm going Victoria Hayward.
All right.
Because of how difficult it is to catch a fly ball with your glove hand turned over.
Okay. Yes.
And the webbing facing the ground.
All right.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
How was that only 10th on SportsCenter Top 10? To short, Sis Bates, easy play, 2 down.
The left fielder, number 24.
Again, if you have an opinion or want to join in on the conversation, you can vote right now online. And somebody give Victoria Hayward some love, please. Here is Jasmine Jackson, 2 down, bases empty. Jackson in her 4th season with Athletes Unlimited. Had her best season at the plate during the 2022 AUX campaign. Hit .333. And has flashed the bat again in Series 2 this year.
She's been looking really good up at the plate. A lot of power slaps, too. That's one of the most difficult players to have to defend against, is when somebody's coming from the left side with a lot of speed that can also hit the ball extremely hard.
Takes a little low and outside. Mia Davidson holding it just a little bit longer there, trying to get the call. 20 inning points at stake here in the second. Neither team scoring in the first. Peyton St. George looking dialed in to start the game.
Taking a little bit off of that pitch, 56 miles an hour with a bit of upspin. Saw a slightly hesitant swing from Jasmine Jackson on that off speed.
And a floater into the mid of Tori Vidalis. Hang on a second. I might not be in center field, but I can flash the glove at first. That's what Vidalis says as she caps off another 1-2-3.
The first baseman was tired of us talking about the outfielder. She said, hey, you know what? We can do it here in the infield too. Tori Vidalis snagging that one, robbing Jasmine Jackson of a base hit.
Sunday morning on ESPN and ESPN Deportes, the London series is back for the first time since 2019 with the Cubs and the Cardinals playing the second game of a two-game set at London Stadium. That one starts 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. And our Sunday night matchup is the series finale between the Astros and Dodgers in LA. Coverage begins 6 Eastern with Sunday night countdown. And a little flip here. Corner infield trading spots. Nadia Taylor going from third to first. Delaney Wiz first to third.
First time this season that Nadia has played at first base. We've seen her at third every single game so far. And the team captain there making some defensive changes here in the bottom of the second inning.
One of the coolest aspects of this league, if you are new to AUX, is that the team captain makes all the decisions, whether they're on the field or in the dugout, including when to pull a pitcher, when to pinch hit, when to make a defensive replacement.
So many responsibilities, and you've got to think an inning or two ahead as well, especially when it comes to how you want to use your pitching staff. Those doubleheader days, it's always important to make sure that your pitchers are throwing enough to win you the game, but also keeping them rested to throw in game two. So all those conversations are happening throughout the ball games here at Athletes Unlimited.
Mariah Masson looking solid in the first inning. Set down Leach, Vidalis, and Gibson in order. It was her first 1-2-3 inning of AUX. And she walks the leadoff hitter, Sam Fisher.
Number 46, Mia Davidson.
For every run scored during this year's Athletes Unlimited AUX season, Aspiration is committed to planting 10 trees. Stay tuned throughout the season to see how many trees will be planted thanks to Aspiration's support. They've been planting or getting ready to plant a lot of trees during Series 2. We've had so many runs scored. And just when you think, like we did the other night with Rachel Garcia throwing 6 scoreless innings, just when you think, man, we're having a shutdown pitcher performance, bam, 7 runs in the 7th inning.
We thought we were going to have a full game of a pitcher's duel, and The offense for Team Taylor said, no, 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 not today.
Mia Davidson strikes out looking. 1 down in the second.
It's exactly how you respond after giving up a 4-pitch walk to Sam Fisher. Mia Davidson comes up to the plate and you throw 3 straight strikes, including this beautiful changeup outside. Freezes Davidson for Masone's first strikeout on the afternoon.
Knee buckler.
Such a good pitch. That's the pitch, that off-speed pitch that every single pitcher here has to have in order to shut down these offenses.
And now Morgan Zirkle, who placed 4th in the AUX standings last season, with 1 out and 1 on. Here's something I find fascinating about Morgan Zirkle. Did not become a left-handed hitter until her junior year of high school, and now playing in the most elite league in the world as a left-handed hitter.
Not a lot of time to perfect that craft, but she is so good coming from the left side. She has so much speed too. Great bat to ball skills, can put the ball down anywhere on the infield, can swing away. Something we saw a lot from her last season.
Gets through in the left field, and our first base hit of the game comes with 1 down off the bat of Morgan Zirkle.
You got the feeling after that defensive change, either Nadia Taylor or Delaney Wiz was going to get a ball that came in their direction, and Morgan Zirkle stands in there, hits away, gets a pretty good piece on this pitch, and drives it straight past Delaney Wiz, who's playing up, trying to respect the bunt and the slap that Morgan Zirkle can do coming from the left side. Hits it hard past her for a base hit, and now runners on first and second with 1 away.
For Sis Bates. Couldn't have placed that any better if you're Morgan Zirkle.
And she noticed that Delaney Wiz was playing really far in and decided to go with hitting away in that pitch.
Imagine how quickly that ball came up on Delaney Wiz.
No time to react to that
No.
one.
Sis Bates, the 2022 Geico AUX Defensive MVP, trying to do a little damage here offensively in a rollover inning to short. They get the lead runner. Sam Fisher out at third, and now 2 down in the second for Jordan Roberts.
Good job there by Kaylee Clifton. All about that pre-pitch thought. She knew exactly where she was going to throw the ball before it was even hit to her. A quick turn over to Wiz to get the second out.
20 points on the line in this inning. Each individual inning worth 10 points. If no one scores in an inning, those 10 points roll over to the next inning. Roberts with a runner in scoring position could give Team Leach a 1-run lead or more here in the bottom of the second. Another buckler on the outside corner by Masson.
The locations where she's able to throw this changeup to the right-handed batters, it's not only dropping down in velocity, but it's got a little bit of tail to it going towards the outside part of the strike zone.
How much do you think the wind plays a factor with pitches and movement?
I don't think it has as much of effect on the pitches as it does the fly balls that are hit up in the air. Especially here in Rosemont, once that ball gets above a certain height up in the air, it can really dance, and you're going to see that these defenders constantly communicating about the wind throughout today's ball games.
Roberts takes. 2-2, 2 down, 2 on for Jordan Roberts. And she lifts a shallow fly ball into right field. Here comes Zirkle, and the play at the plate not in time. A 20-point inning for Team Leach and a 1-run lead in the bottom of the second.
Throughout the first 2 innings of this game, we've really seen Masson work the outside part of the plate to both lefties and righties. She goes way outside again to Jordan Roberts, who just throws her barrel at this pitch, dumps it out into right field. And the speed of Morgan Zirkle getting a good jump off of second base. And she comes across to score and gives her team those 20-inning points.
And now in the 9 spot, Aaliyah Air Andrews. We talked about her Sports Center top 10 catch in center field. Well, entering today, she's 5 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Doing a little bit of everything and inside the top 15 in the individual leaderboard points coming into the final day of Series 2. Runners at the corners. And Aubrey Leach due up next should Andrews get aboard. Sis Bates at third, Jordan Roberts at first. 2-2. Andrews right back up the middle, backhanded by Masson, and gets out of the inning rather unscathed, although Leach does plate the first run, and they pick up 20 inning points through 2. Twenty inning points in the second inning for Team Leach. They lead at 1-0, top of the third. And we are now joined amid action by Aaliyah Air Andrews. Aaliyah, thanks for doing this and joining us tonight.
No problem.
How you feeling?
Good.
I got to ask you, we saw a package of a bunch of really good center field catches in this AUX season. Yours ended up third on the Sports Center top 10.
Yes.
Fans get a chance to vote on a beautiful bunt by Kaylee Clifton, and that will be an infield single. So, Aaliyah, fans get a chance to vote tonight on who they think had the best catch. I need to hear your reasons for why fans should vote for you. What was so special about your catch in center field?
Oh gosh. Honestly, I think they should vote for Halos.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely glad that I caught that ball, right? But I took a horrible first step. Like, I know a lot of people don't get to see that part, but I did not take a good first step. So, yeah, P! So if I did take a good first step, I probably would have been able to catch that ball in the air or like on my feet. So yeah, I think Halo, she took a great first step, was able to make that catch. Me, I think it was a good catch, of course, but yeah, I think I could have caught it on my feet if I would have took a better first step.
And see, Aaliyah, you got my vote for my favorite catch because you did not take that good first step, but you stuck with that fly ball and then, of course, ended up making an incredible catch. It's all about sticking with those plays because oftentimes when it comes to the wind, just the nature of the ball, sometimes you're going to make a bad read to start off, but it's all about how you finish. And I was really impressed with how you were able to recover so quickly on a ball like that and then finish it off with a little bit of style as well.
Well, thank you. Yes, yes. That's one reason why I might vote for myself is because I was able to recover. I was definitely able to recover, thank goodness, because if I took a bad step and dropped the ball, it would have been tough for me. I would have been so mad at myself. But yeah, I'm very glad that I was able. Come on, Mia, come on!
How about this? 3 bunts in the inning by Team Taylor. And Ocasio safe at first. So now runners at the corners and 1 down as we go back to the top of the order with Victoria Hayward.
I was just about to say, Aaliyah, that it looks like Team Taylor is taking a page out of the Aaliyah Andrews handbook, laying down these perfect bunts out there in the infield, stringing together these hits. In these moments when you get runners on the corners, when you get a couple of hits back to back, what do you think the conversation is that's happening now in the infield, just trying to settle things back down for Team Leach here?
Yeah, I think it's just like take things slow and communicate maybe. I'm not sure who called that ball, but Mia did a good job of getting out there, but it might have been easier for one of the corners to get that one. But yeah, they're placing bunts like perfectly right now. So they're probably just talking strategy and how to make sure to not let that happen again.
When you're up at the plate, Aaliyah, and you're looking to either lay down a bunt or slap or even power slap, is there anything that you're looking for from the infielders, particularly the left side of the infield, that tells you which one you want to do in a certain situation?
Yeah, definitely. The fielding, like the defense, is the first thing I look at. And it's really important because, one, you want to see who are playing those positions. Go, Sam! Here, obviously, everybody's so good, but some people have like specialties, like Jessie Warren. I swear she's like has a specialty, like A degree on fielding bunts. So sometimes I'm like, okay, maybe not today, but yeah, I look at the defense, see where they're playing, and that determines what I'm gonna do.
What's your specialty?
I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question. I would say, hopefully people would say diving. I do love that. I take good pride in it. So yeah, I hope people would say that.
All right, runner at the corners. Runners at the corners, including one at third base with 1 down. What's going through your mind in center field?
Make sure to get the out, get an out, whether it's going home or to another base, especially pop fly. Obviously I want to look home, but if it's deep, make sure that I get the trail runner. So yeah, just making sure to get it out here because a base hit, one, scores obviously, but it also provides even more momentum for the other team. So you really just want to focus on making sure to get an out. Keeping it in front too. Keep the ball in front.
Aaliyah, thank you for joining us. We're going to leave your microphone open and just ride along with you for the rest of the inning. So thank you for your time.
No problem. Thank you, guys. Yeah, P! Come on! Two! Got me out. Good job!
I love getting to hear these players while they're in action, and even though Aaliyah Andrews is out there in center field, there's always somewhere for her to be on the field. This is a hard hit ground ball over to Sam Fisher, who gets Kaylee Clifton into a rundown. A nice tag applied there by Mia Davidson, but you could see Aaliyah Andrews coming all the way in from center field over towards second base. There's always a base to be covered, always a backup position that you can be in. Love being able to hear that chatter on the field. It looked like Nadia Taylor might have just gotten hit by a pitch up at the plate. I hope she's all right as she heads down to first base.
And 8 points the hard way. Base is loaded now with 2 down.
Rise ball up and inside.
What?
Looks like it gets her on that right arm.
Done talking. Sis asked me if I was still talking. She heard me. I guess I was loud, dang.
So the base is loaded with Delaney Wiz at the plate.
Here we go, 2 here, yeah, Gib. Ooh.
A 1 to Wiz. Man, if they're not able to score a run here, how big was that defensive effort between Fisher and Davidson? Just executing appropriately with the runner at third base.
And just when Team Taylor felt like they were starting to get a lot of momentum in the top of the third, and then you have a big defensive play like that, and it gives it back to Team Leach. And then you tag on a good couple of pitches by Peyton St. George in the circle. That changeup again has been a difference maker for her so far today.
Well, the first one that Wiz whiffed on, Aaliyah Edwards had the same reaction I did. Ooh. Knee buckler. 1-2 into left field, and it's down. 1 run will come in to score. Here comes Hayward from second base, and it's a 2-run third for Team Taylor.
I thought with 2 strikes, Peyton St. George might go back to the changeup, but she decides to throw this 65-mile-an-hour rise ball up and in. And look at the way that Delaney Wiz gets her barrel out in front, quick hands through the zone, and drives it out to left field. A 1-hopper out there to Danielle Gibson allows 2 runs to come across for Team Taylor.
And now the dangerous Deja Mulipola at the dish. Struck out swinging in her first plate appearance against Peyton St. George, but leads the league this season with 4 homers.
Mia Davidson calling time to come out and talk a bit of pitching strategy to Peyton St. George, how they want to throw to Deja Mulipola in this situation. Struck her out on a rise ball in her last at-bat. Behind 1-0 to start off this at-bat. Good looking off-speed pitch. You can see Deja's reaction after that swing and miss. It's a pitch that oftentimes has some upspin to it, moving in the opposite direction in which you would anticipate most off-speed pitches going.
Peyton St. George not only trying to limit the damage for her team, but for herself as well. If you follow the individual points with AUX, it's -10 for every earned run allowed for pitchers. Has 2 in the inning so far. Three-two count, 2 outs, 2 on. Haley Wagner getting loose for Team Leach. And instead, St. George pulls the string and gets out of the jam. Peyton St. George closing the door on Team Taylor, who leads it by 1.
grandmother is Wilma Ann Williams Leach. She played for the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. She's a Rockford Peach here locally. It's so cool to be in the same area that she played in, and I don't think it really hit me until last season to where I was like, I'm doing what she did. Like I'm following in her footsteps, which is really cool. For our family, something huge, because I think all of us are guided by her influence when we all chose softball.
Pretty cool for Aubrey Leach to be not only playing in the same city in which her grandmother played professionally, but also killing it. She came into the day second in the AUX standings.
She's doing so well offensively and defensively, but what she's been able to do with the bat, showing off the power that she has from the left side, has been really impressive. Of course, as we see her walk through the box, maybe looking to slap here. But that jump in power is something that I got a chance to catch up with Aubrey about. She's always had such a good swing on pitches outside, but really worked on getting stronger, getting her barrel a little bit more out in front so that she could have some power to the pole side. That's where we've seen her home runs go so far this season. That power just makes it even more difficult for defenses to try to figure out where they want to play her. Looking to play a little bit of short game here to start off this bottom of the third inning.
By the time that pitch came home, the corner infield was like 5 yards away from home plate. Leach nipping at the heels of Rachel Garcia. And remember, Leach will play another game later on tonight right here on ESPNU. Has the benefit of the doubleheader on the final day of the series. And the top three in our leaderboard after tonight will be the captains for the draft of the final series, which takes place tomorrow.
It's always exciting to see how many points it comes down to in the final games of each series.
Leach to Ramirez and a flip to first, one down.
The first baseman.
Well, the 77th annual NBA draft tomorrow from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Barring a trade, the Spurs have the first pick. We all know what that means. Followed by the Hornets and the Trailblazers. Our NBA draft experts project Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson, and Brandon Miller as the top players. 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN Radio. Clifton backing up on the grounder by Vidalis. 2 away.
So far in this ball game, a lot of weak contact induced by Mariah Masson in the circle. Ultimately, it was the leadoff walk to Sam Fisher in the second inning that came around to score for Team Leach. Other than that, a lot of fly ball outs and a lot of weak ground ball outs to her defense behind her.
Take advantage, right, of the gloves behind you. Don't make it harder than it has to be.
Sometimes it's hard for pitchers, though. You get amped up for these ball games. You want to strike out as many batters as possible. But when you have these stellar defenses behind you, all you've got to do is paint those corners and let the offense put the ball in play and let the defense work.
10 points on the line here with 2 outs and nobody on for Danielle Gibson. A 2-run top half by Team Taylor.
Like Danielle Gibson just fouled off that pitch off of her right foot. Taking a second to walk that one off before she gets back into the batter's box.
Tapped back to Masson in the first. Gibson leads the league with 11 hits coming into the night. Has a chance to extend the inning here for Sam Fisher. Just lays off the pitch. Man, it looked like she wanted to go for it.
This is a really good looking off-speed pitch. Misses just a touch outside. The entire defense for
Yes.
Masson thought it was strike 3. They started running off the field.
2-2. Nadia Taylor took about 4 or 5 steps towards the first base dugout over at third.
Victoria Hayward out in center field ran several steps in. There's Nadia over at third base. Back to third base,
Yeah.
might I add.
3-2. Gibson to center on a line and over the head of Hayward and off the wall. And Gibson will glide into second with a 2-out double. Passing the bat to Sam Fisher.
After taking the close changeup outside, got herself into a full count. This is a drop ball down in the zone, and Danielle Gibson has such a smooth swing with that barrel path out to center field, over the head of Victoria Hayward. That ball had an exit velocity of 80.9 miles per hour off her bat. A stand-up double for who I've termed the doubles queen here in AUX.
Well, now she has the lead with 6 doubles during the AUX season. And Fisher into left, but Jackson is there to put it away, and it's 10 points for Team Taylor. They win the third, and they also lead it 2-1 in Rosemont. A 2-1 lead for Team Taylor, coming off a 2-run third and 10 points. Fans, get your tickets to the AUX Softball Virtual Fan Fest by joining the Unlimited Club. Hear from your favorite players such as Sis Bates and Haley McClenny. Experience one-on-one meet and greets and giveaways, plus a whole lot more. Join now for just $20 a year at auprosports.com/membership. I love the hand clappers.
You can hear them all over the stadium. I heard them before the game even started.
It reminds me of like an SEC football Saturday with cowbells.
Cowbells, I knew where you were going with that one.
Here is Shannon Rhodes leading things off for Team Taylor. Peyton St. George back in the circle. There's a look at the hand clappers. We saw Haley Wagner warming up in the bullpen at the end of last inning, just in case. But Peyton St. George doing a really nice job of getting out of the jam, stranding a pair of base runners, and mitigating it to a 2-run inning.
Well, and they do have a doubleheader today, too, so you've got to be mindful of how many pitchers you use in game 1. And when she's throwing changeups like that, you go ahead and keep rolling her out there in the circle, because that pitch is absolutely filthy. She gets so much spin on this off-speed pitch, so out of her hand, it looks like it might be a rise ball up and inside. And by the time as a batter you realize that it's an off-speed pitch, oftentimes it's too late.
Jasmine Jackson, 1 out. Flare to the right side, caught by Leach. The thing that probably makes Peyton St. George's off speed that much more deadly is how high her velo goes on the fastball.
Yeah, she can get up there in the high 60s, 67, 68, 69 miles an hour. And it's that tight spin, too. It's a very different than your traditional changeup, a loopy changeup that somebody might throw. But because she's able to put so much spin on it, as a batter, you think it's going to be another rise ball coming in there, 65, 66, 67 miles an hour. And you're having to make such quick decisions on high velocity pitches like that. If you decide to swing too early, then you're going to be way out in front on those off speeds.
It wasn't always that way for Peyton St. George either. Marissa Young, her coach at Duke, talked about the progression, particularly with the velo during her time out in North Carolina. Came in throwing 61, 62. By the time she was done, was throwing upwards of 69 miles per hour. A flare into left, and a 1-2-3 inning for Peyton St. George, the 6th for her of this AUX season.
I mean, at
Let's
this
go
point,
into the game
you can't really
with-
care. We got the win, so. Always trying to steal my cheers. That blue team and everybody. This is it! This is it! We're gonna score! We're gonna score! Great patience right there. Great patience.
Thanks, man. It's about time. I need it.
Great job, guys. Great job. Here we go. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
That was into the game with Air National Guard and Nadia Taylor, who is back over at first base. Her and Delaney Wiz are playing like musical chairs right now.
They keep just going back and forth, and I keep trying to think, why would they be making those decisions? Why is Nadia Taylor making those defensive switches? And maybe it has something to do with all of the lefties and the speed that Team Leach has at the bottom of their order between Morgan Zirkle, Sis Bates, and Aaliyah Andrews. Maybe that's a reason why they keep flipping back and forth. But you hear how Nadia is constantly talking to her own team and even some of the opponents that she's seeing, congratulating Sam Fisher on her patience up at the plate after she worked that walk.
Were you a chatter when you were out in the field or no?
I did not smile a whole lot on the field. I didn't talk a ton on the field. Had my game face on at all times when I was out there playing.
Maybe that's what it takes to be a two-time first-team All-American. Just game face all the time.
Everybody's different.
Yep.
Everybody plays a little different, but can't help but smile when Nadia Taylor's smiling like she does out on the field.
Little brush back there of Mia Davidson. Leading it off for Team Leach in the bottom of the 4th. 10 points here up for grabs. as Taylor went 1, 2, 3 in the top half. Davidson third in the standings coming into the day. Struck out looking in her first at bat against Masson back in the second. And goes right back up the middle and into center field. 10 points on the base hit for Mia Davidson, and leads off the inning with a leadoff single. Sunday morning on ESPN and ESPN Deportes, the London Series is back for the first time since 2019, with the Cubs and the Cards playing the second of a 2-game set at London Stadium. That one starts at 10 a.m. Eastern, and our Sunday night matchup is the finale between the Astros and the Dodgers. Coverage begins 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, with baseball tonight, Sunday night countdown. So Davidson at first, and Morgan Zirkle at the dish. Zirkle singled in her first at bat. Sort of got the rally started in the lone scoring inning for Team Leach so far. '60th pitch of the day for Masson is a strike. Flare to the left side and grabbed by Clifton, one away.
Good communication between the left side of the infield for Team Taylor. Kaylee Clifton calling off Delaney Wiz at the last minute. Both infielders have to go hard for that because, as we mentioned, you never know what the wind is going to do. But a very loud call at the end for out number 1, and another speedy lefty up at the plate for Team Leach here in Sis Bates.
Bates reached on a fielder's choice back in the second, passing the bat to Jordan Roberts, who came through with an RBI single. All-time hits leader at UW. So highly followed during her collegiate career for Washington. And as I was preparing, I always like to use the Google machine. So I just typed in Sis Bates. The top question on Google was, what happened to Sis Bates? That was the most searched Google search regarding Sis Bates. Folks, she's right here.
She's right here.
AUX defensive MVP last season.
Making great plays over at shortstop. She has such a quick jump at that position, gets a great first step, and then really anticipates where the batters are going to hit the ball, helping her give her a quick step to be able to make those plays. It always seems like every season she's making it on SportsCenter top 10.
Between her in the middle infield and then Aaliyah Andrews out in center for Team Leach, there's no shortage of highlight plays defensively for this team. 3-2. Bates, pop up behind the plate. Mulipola with the screen, making the play. No, she did not. So Bates will get another look at it here.
She made the play, but it hit off the net.
Off the net first.
Does not go down as an out. Still a nice grab by the catcher, though.
Bates getting a chuckle.
Deja's probably asking her if it still counts.
Yeah,
if it
right.
hits off the netting and she catches it, if it still counts as an out.
8th pitch. And Bates tattoos it into right field.
We've seen a lot more power from Sis Bates here in this season. Series 1 hit her first home run out to right field. This one's a 3-2 pitch, high velocity, 69.5 miles per hour inside, and she gets her barrel turned out in front and drives it out to right field for a 1-out base hit.
It looks like we're going to have a pitching change here. Masson out, Georgina Korick in for Team Taylor. She will take over with 1 down and 2 on when we return.
Team Taylor making a change in the circle, bringing in Georgina Korick, and this is what she did on Monday. Very effective with the off-speed pitch, throwing it outside to the righties, even down in the dirt. Got a lot of strikeouts looking, being able to expand the strike zone on both sides of the plate. 6 innings pitched, only gave up 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 strikeouts. Majority of those were looking strikeouts on pitches similar to that changeup we just saw go by for ball 1.
More strikeouts in her last appearance than she had through the first 2 games of the first series. Was a little bit uncharacteristic in her first 2 appearances, and has really buttoned it up. Has only allowed 3 earned runs over her last 3 times in the circle, and that has spanned over 12 innings of work. Pinch runner is Nicole Mendez for Team Leach, and remember, there's an opportunity here for them to scoop up another 10 points by winning the inning. And that one will send Roberts up to first. So now the bases are loaded and 1 down for Aaliyah Andrews.
Mentioned how Aaliyah Andrews is one of those triple threat lefties. We even got to hear her talking about how she's reading defenses up at the plate. Now in a bases loaded situation, you're going to see the infield squeezing her pretty tight. Wouldn't be surprised if she tries to go to more of a power slap or even swinging away with 2 runners in scoring position here.
Andrews up the middle, and that'll squeak through into center. 1 run is in to score, and now here comes another, and the play at the plate is not in time as Sis Bates dives in around the tag. Heads up base running by Sis Bates, coming from second base to score.
We talked about the great first jump that she gets at the shortstop position, but how about her base running too? Off of second base, immediately takes off, rounds third base hard, and this slide into home plate is what makes all the difference. The throw beats her there, but because she dives to the back side of the bag, Deja Mulipola has to reach across her body to apply that tag. Umpire calling Sis Bates safe at the plate, and we might have a challenge here going to video review on that play at the plate.
It is a captain's challenge coming from Nadia Taylor. who was up the first base line when that play came home.
At this moment, 2 runs are in, a challenge underway.
And the challenge is actually going to be interference by the shortstop. Interference by the runner, I beg your pardon, over at shortstop, causing Kaylee Clifton not to be able to defend there and scoop up the ground ball.
No contacts made. I think that Sis Bates does a good job of coming off hard and then avoiding the defender here, getting out of the way. She's still in the base path. You look at where Kaylee Clifton started, too. I don't think she was going to be able to make a play on that ball going back up the middle.
So if the call on the field stands that Sis Bates is safe at home plate, those 2 runs will be credited to Mariah Masson. And the call will stand. Sis Bates safe at home. And same with Mia Davidson. So another inning-winning base hit for Team Leach.
And a really nice job by Aaliyah Andrews, too. We talked about how the infield was really playing her in, and she pulls the ball enough back up the middle to allow 2 runners to come across for Team Leach.
And now back to the top of the order for Aubrey Leach, who has a chance to really do some damage here and help her own cause in the individual standings. So far hitless tonight, but only 38 points back of Rachel Garcia in the leaderboard. Haven't seen a lot of long balls in this game. We've talked a lot about homers. We've seen 9 hits. 8 of those have been singles. Your thoughts?
I think it's because the pitchers are really working outside of the zone. If they're missing almost in the other batter's box, trying to see what pitches they're going to get called. You even saw Georgina Korick trying to work hard inside to Aubrey Leach, ended up being called a ball. But when you're not missing over the heart of the plate, it's hard to barrel up some of those pitches.
And a strikeout. Leach goes down. Everyone loves to rep Athletes Unlimited, and you can do that too. Be sure to check out all the great gear, including the tie-dyed Love is Unlimited Pride tee. Go to shop.auprosports.com to get yours today. So 2 down and 2 on for Tori Vidalis, who is also hitless in the game today.
That pitch right there is another example of something that you're going to see these batters swing at, but not a pitch that you can get really solid barrel on. Up and underneath the hands. Georgina Korick now working from way ahead, 0-2. Can throw anything she wants.
And you may be wondering, as you saw that last graphic pop up for Tori Vidalis, she's hitless. How does she have 20 points? Well, players on teams whose team wins the inning are credited 10 points per inning. And Team Leach scored 20 points in the second, thus 20 points for Tori Vidalis.
There's always something to play for here in Athletes Unlimited. Those inning points, of course, the win points, the MVP points that are given out at the end of the game.
Vidalis up the middle. And the bases are loaded as Jordan Roberts holds at third. Right on cue. Hitless no more.
Tori has done such a good job of hitting off speeds here this season. This is a changeup outside. She waits on it and drives it straight back up the middle. Good piece of hitting there by Dallas to extend this inning.
She extends it for the doubles queen, in your words, Danielle Gibson, who has the only extra base hit of the day. It was a double.
And she smoked it too,
Yes.
over 80 miles an hour off the bat.
In the center, playable for Hayward. And Corick gets out of a 2-out bases loaded jam, but Team Leach wins the inning. 10 points for everyone on Team Leach after 4. Team Leach on top 3-2, trying to go 3-0 to start AUX Series 2. History will be made as Athletes Unlimited is bringing the first ever professional softball games to the Little League Softball World Series in Greenville, North Carolina on August the 9th, 4:30, 7 Eastern on ESPN2. Don't want to miss this inspirational event with the heroes of the game competing in regular season games in front of the Little League softball athletes and fans.
It's going to be such a fun experience for all of those little leaguers to be able to watch their role models out there competing. Definitely going to be a fun series for sure.
Little tapper, and St. George on the seat of her pants. Abby Ramirez with a base hit, 5 feet from home plate.
Peyton St. George had to charge this one hard. A swinging bunt, hops out of the circle and just couldn't get her footing. That right foot slipped out from underneath her. Looks like she's still having a bit of a laugh about that one.
A change defensively for Team Leach. Jordan Roberts now catching. There was Mia Davidson to start. So now St. George will toss to a different battery mate. Alicia Ocasio at the dish. And Roberts secured the ball in foul territory.
Really nice play, and I thought for a second watching that one live that Jordan Roberts might have fielded that one out in front of home plate. We always joke, as soon as you get put in the game defensively, the ball is going to find you.
New entries are a magnet. And it's typically a tough play, too.
Yes,
it's not an easy routine play.
Never routine. Always something that you have to be on your toes, have to have that aggressive mindset on defense, have to want the ball.
One on, nobody out, 2-2. Top of the order due up next for Team Taylor. Victoria Hayward on deck. St. George gets a strikeout, her third, make it her fourth of the evening.
Center fielder, number 1, Victoria.
And now Victoria Hayward, who had this catch last Thursday, ending up on SportsCenter Top 10.
Got a really good read on this ball. Had to run a long way in center field. As you mentioned, the almost backhand grab, diving out into the right center gap, robbing Morgan Zirkle of a base hit. Another fantastic catch out in center field.
If you want to vote, join in on the conversation. Do it on Twitter. Go to @AU Pro Sports on the Twitter sphere. Cast your vote. That one caught a piece of Victoria Hayward. 8 points for her on the hit by pitch as she goes up to first.
Third baseman, 88, Nadia.
You never want to get hit by a pitch, but if you do get hit by one and it happens to be a changeup, I think you'll take that. It still hurts.
Yes.
It doesn't feel good. Might feel a little bit better than a 68-mile-an-hour pitch.
Second hit batter of the game for Peyton St. George, who the first time through set down 6 in a row and then gave up 2 bunt singles. Third time through the lineup now for Team Taylor. And their captain is at the dish with 2 on. And nobody out here in the top of the 5th.
Back-to-back changeups to start off this at-bat against Nadia Taylor. Falling behind 2-0, I think you've got to come with something hard here. Works a screwball inside, 64 mile an hour for strike 1.
For the most part, Peyton St. George has kept Team Taylor off balance. 4 hits, but 2 of those were bunt singles. To third, a tap of the bag and a strong throw across the diamond for an inning-ending double play ball by Sam Fisher. So another chance for Team Leach to pick up 10 points when we return.
Welcome back to Athletes Unlimited Softball. Team Leach versus Team Taylor. And you'll notice in the field, Nadia Taylor, the captain, and Delaney Wiz have been popping back and forth between first and third base. They both can play the corners. Delaney, in fact, can get behind the plate and be a catcher too. And I asked Delaney, what's the thinking? Is this some grand strategy, something to throw off the offense? Nope, it's simple. They're just getting work in at both tonight. Back up to you, Matt and Madison.
Thank you, Savannah. And I'm over here thinking they're being strategic about the certain part of the order, trying to flip back and forth between first base and third base. But they're really just wanting to get some reps in at the corners. Bottom of the 5th inning, Sam Fisher coming up to the plate, She was the one that got a rally started back in the second inning with a leadoff walk. Facing Georgina Korick here as she pumps that one in there for strike one. We really continue to see Georgina Korick work those curveballs away to the right-handed batters. That's a pitch that she had a lot of success with back on Monday. As Sam Fisher drives this one deep, but foul down the left field line. Jasmine Jackson having to run a long way, giving that one chase. Just a long strike there for Sam Fisher, bringing the count to 1-2. Fouls it off, and we'll do it again. Korick continuing to work both sides of the plate here to Sam Fisher. Always has that changeup that she can bust out in any count. Throws it there, down for ball two. Sam Fisher smokes that one again, foul down the left field line. Seems like she's really finding her groove here in this at bat. Sometimes those long foul balls can give you a bit of confidence when you're up at the plate.
Team Leach, another chance to win yet another inning. That's just what this team does. They have, coming into the night, outscored their opponents in this series 20-9. Fisher with a floater, and there is one down.
Korick just working again back and forth there. Ultimately gets Sam Fisher for an easy pop fly over to Delaney Wiz. And right on cue is Nadia Taylor and Delaney are bouncing back and forth. You know a ball's going to find one of them in this inning.
I'm really looking forward to talking with Nadia Taylor about why she has continued to switch back and forth.
Just trying to get those reps.
That's right.
On the corners.
This is Mendez's first at bat. She came in a pinch run last inning, remained in the game. Batting in the spot that was previously held by Mia Davidson, who started the game at catcher. Now it's Jordan Roberts behind the plate for Team Leach. You and Eric had a nice opportunity to chat for quite some time with Mendez back on Monday night. She was the star in the stands, rolls it to third. There is Taylor flipping it on the run to first base. That's why she keeps moving back and forth. She wants to make the slick play in the hot corner. Hey, the 77th annual NBA draft is tomorrow from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Barring a trade, the Spurs have the first pick, followed by the Hornets and the Blazers. Our NBA draft experts project Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson, and Brandon Miller as the top players. You can catch it 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Radio, and the app. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern. And Morgan Zirkle with 2 down and the bases empty. Should Team Leach not score here, the 10-inning points would roll over. Zirkle into left field. Back on it is Jackson and makes the catch just a couple of paces in front of the warning track. Deja Mulipola coming to the dish next. This is what she did the other night.
Team Taylor hoping she could do it again here. Deja blasting this one 309 feet. We've got inning points on the line as Team Taylor comes up to bat.
Team Leach continues their 3-2 lead. They have won 2 out of 3 innings so far in this game. The AU Softball Championship season is back right here in Rosemont starting July 28th through August 27th. Season tickets, 3-game mini plans, group tickets, and more now available. Go to auprosports.com/tickets to get yours today. Great environment here in Rosemont for this AUX season. And the games have been competitive as well.
Lots of offense.
Lots
that
of
has been
offense.
the theme for AUX. Typically for pitchers, you see them trying to work more in the strike zone and then expand the zone outside, but you've really seen them have to flip their strategy, working more outside and then bringing the pitches in if they need to, because these hitters are hitting anything and everything up at the plate.
Maybe except to this point in this game, Team Taylor. They did score 2 runs, but again, 2 of their 4 hits, bunt singles. And both of their runs coming in the 3rd, in which they attempted 3 bunts. And that was the 2nd time through the order against Peyton St. George, who remains in the circle for Team Leach.
And Team Taylor does have some players that do have some speed. We saw Alicia Ocasio had one of those bunt singles back in the 3rd inning. But when Peyton St. George is throwing the off speeds that she is, that's another tool that you can use. Just get on base, pass the bat, try to make something happen, just as we saw Delaney Wiz do right there, taking her free pace, heading down to first. Now you've got Deja up with a runner on board.
And this is now officially the longest outing of the AUX season for Peyton St. George. Her previous was 4 1/3. That came Monday against Team Taylor. Only gave up 1 earned run. Struck out 5 against Team Taylor back on Monday night.
Couple of strikeouts against St. George for Deja. Strikeout on the rise in the 2nd, and the off speed in the 3rd.
The pull it is short. Bates, the flip to 2nd. Was it in time? Yes. Gloved by Aubrey Leach to get the lead runner Wiz. And Bulapula reaches on the fielder's choice.
Pretty close play over at second base. Sis Bates having to move to her right and then throw this one behind her. A good stretch by Aubrey Leach at second to get that force. See how she plants her right foot on the base and then goes out to grab that one to just barely get Wiz before she slides in.
Shannon Rhodes. This is a 20-point inning, potentially, with the rollover points from the 5th. Neither team scoring. Peyton St. George trying to keep it that way. She's been so impressive during this AUX season, Peyton St. George. And you talked about it in the open. Her mix of pitches is something that's really impressed you.
Yeah, it's the off speeds too that she's throwing them in different directions. That last one that she got for a foul ball, working more down in the zone. We've seen what looks more like an off speed rise coming in as well. When you have the mix of speeds and the variations in the spins and the movements, it makes it difficult for a batter to try to come up with a game plan against one particular pitch, because you have so many different pitches that you're going to be able to see from her out in the circle. You really have to look either off speed or something hard, or even pick a certain side of the plate. And because of that, you have not seen a ton of hard contact off of her today.
Rhodes swung, throw down to second, in time. Jordan Roberts with a strike him out, throw him out. And that ends the inning. The unconventional double play, and that's back-to-back innings in which Peyton St. George gets out of it with a DP.
Another off speed down in the dirt. A good job by Jordan Roberts. Fires it down to Sis Bates to get the double play to end the inning.
Team Leach has a chance to pick up their second 20-point inning of the night. They could do that with a run here in the bottom of the 6th. They'll be taking on a new pitcher. Remember, later on tonight, Team Leach back at it, 8:30 Eastern on ESPNU, taking on Team Filler. That will be the final game of Series 2, with the final draft of AUX coming tomorrow night. And
Team Taylor making a change here in the circle, bringing in Carrie Eberly in the bottom of the 6th inning. Very well known for the heavy drop ball that she's going to throw to both sides of the plate. Will mix an off speed in every once in a while. I think that's, again, a pitch that she's going to need to throw for strikes if she wants to try to shut down this Team Leach offense.
The shortstop, 22, Sis Bates.
bottom 3 in the lineup: Sis Bates, Jordan Roberts, Aaliyah Andrews. And with no other game tonight for Team Taylor, we are seeing the gamut of pitchers. Third one tonight used by Nadia Taylor. Bates running a 3-game hit streak with her single back in the 4th. One of 7 hits tonight for Team Leach. All but one of those a base hit. And they need just 1 run here in the 6th to capitalize and score another 20 inning points. Team Leach undefeated in Series 2 coming into the day. Opportunity to set themselves up for a sweep against Team Filler with a win here tonight against Taylor.
Each day of these series here in AUX, a different team is playing a doubleheader, and so far the home teams, the doubleheader teams, have not fared well here in AUX.
To third, Bates trying to leg it out, cannot. On Delaney Wiz's throw to first.
The catcher,
Sunday morning on ESPN and ESPN Deportes, the London series is back for the first time since 2019, with the Cubs and the Cardinals playing the second game of a 2-game set at London Stadium. That one starts at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. And our Sunday night matchup is the series finale between the Stros and the Dodgers in LA. Coverage of that begins at 6 Eastern with baseball tonight and Sunday night countdown.
Saw Danielle O'Toole, the facilitator for Team Leach this week, try to make a stop on that foul ball with her foot. It did not go over well. She missed it. It went past her. There's a fine line when you're coaching the bases of which ones you want to go after, which ones you let go by. There's a look at Danielle O'Toole, the 2022 AUX champion last season out in San Diego. Just a phenomenal lefty pitcher. And it's been really cool to watch how much she interacts with her team, especially Aubrey Leach, trying to strategize how they want to use the pitching here at AUX. Some of the batting order strategies as well. Constant communication that you're getting from these players, and also the phenomenal facilitators that we have here at Athletes Unlimited.
Into center, playable for Hayward, 2 down. And for more, let's send it down to Savannah.
Thanks, Matt. Coming into this season, talking to Danielle O'Toole, it's a new role for her, but one that she's really embraced. And I asked her, what's the thing that you're really hoping to challenge yourself and learn this season? She said that it's coaching third base. We have seen her with this gold squad, and last week with Deja Mulipola take some risks, send some people home, really pushing it in the base path. And she said she's really enjoyed taking on that challenge and then also learning how to build lineups. And it's neat seeing her matched up with Leach this week. You know, this is a captain that's not a pitcher, so she's been able to take on a lot of that responsibility. Right now, she's in the dugout talking strategy with Haley Wagner, who most likely will be coming in to close out this game for the Gold Squad. So she's able to take on a lot of different roles while also picking up on those things that maybe she didn't get to embrace while she was just a PO with Athletes Unlimited and throughout her career.
Thank you, Savannah. All of that insight is just great, seeing them continue to communicate over in the dugout. O'Toole, also the pitching coach for Cal State Fullerton. Her squad made it to the Clemson Regional this past season. Did phenomenal things with that pitching staff, and love how she's trying to continue to grow in her time here at Athletes Unlimited. And so important to get those reps when you're coaching third base, because it's all about that live speed of when to send runners, when to hold them up. Important to be able to get some more reps under your belt.
Andrews slaps it into left field, chasing it down Jackson, and a throw in his second, not in time, as Andrews glides in with a 2-out double.
Aaliyah Andrews squares this one up. It's a rise up in the zone, goes after it, takes her barrel to it, hits it out into that left center gap, rounds first base hard, dives safely into second base. A really nice defensive play made out in left field by Jasmine Jackson, who came across and slid to prevent that ball from getting all the way to the fence. Knowing the speed that Aaliyah Andrews has on the base paths, if that ball got past her, she definitely would have made it into third base.
So now Andrews with another multi-hit game. Remember, she singled and drove in 2 runs back in the 4th. And now a double for the 8th hit of the day for Team Leach. And with it, Andrews moves from 11th to start the day all the way up to 7th. And she will play another game tonight against Filler on a line drive to left by Tori Vidalis. And now runners at the corners with 2 down. Rather for Tori Vidalis. That was Aubrey Leach with a base hit.
And with that hit, Aubrey Leach is going to jump ahead of Rachel Garcia in the lead in the leaderboard. Good piece of hitting there by Aubrey.
And now Tori Vidalis. Hard hit to second, but Ramirez is there. And Everly pitches around. 2 base hits with 2 outs. A 30-point 7th is coming your way next.
Team Leach was down by 1 run before this base hit by Aaliyah Andrews. Back up the middle, scored 2 runs for Team Leach, and that's where we stand. Leach ahead at 3-2 heading into the 7th inning.
in for every run scored during this year's Athlete Unlimited AUX season. Aspiration is committed to planting not 1, not 2, but 10 trees. Stay tuned throughout the season to see how many trees will be planted thanks to Aspiration support. Aaliyah Andrews, a big reason for Team Leach's lead here. Another multi-hit game and has driven in 2 runs of Team Leach's 3. Meanwhile, Peyton St. George going for a complete game.
Something we have not seen here at AUX. Haley Wagner got close within 1 out of throwing a complete game. But Peyton St. George has looked really strong out in the circle all game long, and it's because of those off-speed pitches that she just pumps one in there for strike 1.
Somebody who we'll see later tonight, Rachel Garcia. It looked going into the 7th on Monday night like she would complete the game and get a win, but instead came out with the bases loaded and nobody out in what wound up being a win for Team Taylor.
Yeah, she ended up giving up a couple of hard hits, came out of that ball game, and Team Taylor exploded for 7 runs in the 7th.
There is Rachel Garcia. A reminder, you can catch her back in the circle for Team Filler coming up next, 8:30 Eastern on ESPNU. She came into the day leading the AUX standings. On a flare up the middle, and Jasmine Jackson is aboard for the first time today.
Number 20, Haley.
The 77th annual NBA draft kicks off tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, ABC, ESPN Radio. Victor Wembanyama is expected to be the top overall draft pick by the San Antonio Spurs. On a bunt up the middle, and some miscommunication. 4 gold jerseys converging around the ball, excellently placed by Kaylee Clifton, and now 2 on and nobody out for Team Taylor.
Another bunt base hit in this ball game for Kaylee Clifton. Just reading how the corners were playing really deep. Gets some good touch on this one. Hits it right out in front of home plate. Everybody's crashing to make a play, but nobody's able to come up with that one in time to get her out over at first.
This is starting to look a lot like the 3rd inning, where we saw 3 bunt attempts, including 2 bunt singles. And that was the only inning that Team Taylor scored. So a return to small ball perhaps for Nadia Taylor's crew.
Well, and there's a lot on the line here in the top of the 7th inning. You've got those 30 rollover inning points and, of course, those 50 win points on the line as well.
Another bunt. St. George, the only play to first and the first out of the inning. But both runners will advance. And remember, those points get applied to each player on the team. And with this being the final day of Series 2 and the draft coming up tomorrow, certainly more on the line tonight than in previous nights of Series 2 as far as the leaderboard is concerned. Top 3 in the leaderboard after tonight will be team captains and have the fun honor of drafting their players for the final series of AUX.
I'll be interested here to see if Team Taylor continues to work a bit of small ball with speed over at 3rd base with Jasmine Jackson. Maybe a squeeze opportunity. Well, now with 2 strikes, you're taking off any thought of small ball for Ocasio here.
Well, that run over at 3rd, Jasmine Jackson, is huge for Team Taylor, who will not force the bottom of the 7th unless they are able to score a run. And Ocasio waves at strikeout number 6 for Peyton St. George.
such a good off-speed pitch. Look at the arm side run that this pitch has on it. It's not just dropping down in velocity. It's not just low in the zone, but it's running away from the lefty Ocasio for a huge strikeout for out number 2.
Top of the order, Victoria Hayward at the dish. She must plate Jasmine Jackson over at third to continue this game and have a chance not only to win the inning, 30 points, but also the game, 50 points. She has not tallied a hit yet tonight, though she has reached twice. Meanwhile, Peyton St. George working on the first complete game of her AUX career. What's your approach here if you're Hayward?
I'm surprised that we haven't seen more batters for Team Taylor go up there and try to sit some of those off-speed pitches. And you can even tell by that half swing that Victoria Hayward had on that one that she's not looking for that speed. And another one right there, just not picking it up out of the hand. So if you find yourself in a 2-strike count here where you have to fight off everything, and that's exactly where Peyton St. George wants you, in a position to where you have to be able to get to the 53, 54 mile an hour off speeds, but also she can pump in that good velocity as we've seen sprinkled throughout this ball game.
The 1-2. Right back to St. George, who will complete the complete game. And an 80-point out right there for Peyton St. George. 30 points for the inning, 50 points for the game, and Team Leach remains undefeated in AUX Series 2.
It's a great performance by Peyton St. George. Team Leach coming from behind with that big hit by Aaliyah Andrews. A great team win to extend their undefeated streak here in Series 2.
Which they will put on the line next, 8:30 Eastern on ESPNU against Rachel Garcia and Team Filler. Our final score, Team Leach 3, Team Taylor 2. We will be back after a short break at 8:30 with more AUX softball. Coming up first, SEC Inside, Kentucky women's basketball.